or sponsors. Encouraging, educating, and empowering you into action. This is Warriors Talk with your host, Lady ReShell.
Hello, hello. Welcome to Warriors Talk with author and founder Lady ReShell, where we move away from awareness towards action. It is Health and Wellness Monday, and our topic for today is, are you doing enough to reduce your risk of cancer? We are live on Intellectual Radio. We just heard from the Drive FI with Roman. Keep it locked right here on Intellectual Radio and allow us to feed your brain. On the last episode of Warriors Talk, Rizal and I discussed part 2 of Signs They Are Not the One. Head on over to YouTube and type in Intellectual Radio. Stay connected for any episodes you may have missed. The quote of the day is, "We hold our own destiny 3 times a day, and the choice we're making when we're sitting down to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner." Here is your trending topic for today. According to Chicago's WLS, people were reportedly jumping onto cars and throwing bottles at the Chicago police overnight into Monday. A mass arrest began around 1:23 a.m. in the 3000 block of North Clark Street near Hostage in the Lakeview neighborhood. It is unclear how many people were injured or if the officers were hurt. "I didn't want to go out of my apartment," said a Lakeview resident. The city celebrated the 53rd annual Chicago Pride Parade in the Lakeview neighborhood on Sunday. The parade ended at 1 p.m. At one point later in that day, police flooded the area of Clark Street in Belmont after reports of people fighting on the bus. There were multiple reports of people dancing on the CTA buses and crowds moving onto the side streets. It was not the people celebrating pride, according to one witness. It was also something that he thinks was a determinant that this is about the whole issue. According to the 44th Ward Alderman Larson, he expressed disappointment in a statement, and he said following the parade's conclusion, he was extremely disappointed to see disruptive action in the neighborhood in the early morning hours. He was grateful for the Chicago Police Department for their quick and decisive action that limited damage and kept people safe, and the Streets and Sanitation Department for their great work at cleaning up the neighborhood. He looked forward to meeting with the city's department and the stakeholders in the coming days to discuss how they can continue to improve the parade for the participants, the attendees, and the neighbors to prevent these disturbing actions from occurring in the future. That is your trending topic for today. If you are tuned in on any form of social media, do me a favor, like the show, share the show, invite someone else in on the show that you feel may benefit from this valuable information. Our topic, are you doing enough to reduce your risk of cancer? And I feel like this is a question that we can all ask ourselves at one point in time in our lives because we keep hearing individuals being diagnosed with cancer. So according to statistics, they said 1 in 2 people will be diagnosed with cancer in their lifetime, which that number to me is pretty high. So I feel like this is something that we should not continue to be quiet about, that we should have conversations about it, just so individuals can be aware of what we're dealing with when it comes to cancer. So according to the World Health Organization, also known as WHO, they say 30 to 50% of cancers are preventable. And in 2020, the National Cancer Institute reported that there was almost 20 million new cases of cancers and 9.7 million cancer-related deaths. And this is worldwide. They are expecting by 2024, according to the National Cancer Institute, that the number of cancer cases will increase. And again, as the world increases, so does the number of cancer cases. So 29.9 million They expect it to increase, and out of that, 15.3 million deaths. So, with the increase in cancer numbers, we know that there's an increase in deaths that comes along with it. But according to the Mayo Clinic, they say that up to 70% of cancers can be prevented if you adopt a healthy lifestyle. And we keep hearing this, a healthy lifestyle, right? What exactly is that? So I want to play a quick video really quick, and then we'll discuss the video.
Prevent it. Number one, quit smoking. I'm not just talking about cigarettes. I'm talking about vaping. I'm talking about hookah. Anything that does not belong in your lungs, cut it out. Number two, eat right and exercise. Obesity has been linked to several different types of cancer. Get that weight under control and get in the gym, guys. Many other benefits with it. Number three, avoid processed meats. The World Health Organization actually did a study that showed that salami and all these different types of bacon and cured meats increase your risk of colon cancer. That is correct. Cut these out of your diet and you will live healthier. Number four, safe sex. Now, we all know the risk of HIV, but did you know that hepatitis and HPV are also associated with unsafe sexual practices? And hepatitis greatly increases liver cancer. HPV can greatly increase cervical cancer. If you're at risk, you may want to consider getting vaccinated as well. And finally, sunscreen. Yes, guys, you got to put it on every time you go out of the house, whether the sun is shining or not. The rates of skin cancer have skyrocketed, and sunscreen is your best protection. I use it almost every single day. These top 5 things can keep you out of health risks for a long, long time. Stay tuned for the next video. Thanks for watching.
Oh, he said a mouthful, a mouthful. The one that really stuck with me was the last one where he talked about skin cancer and using sunscreen. And I've mentioned before on the show that I was diagnosed with skin cancer back in 2018, but mine was not related to like the skin cancer that you get from not wearing sunscreen or tanning, right? So it was totally different, a more lighter, less dangerous version of skin cancer. So skin cancer is real. So I would encourage you to please, if you're going out, even if you have melanin in your skin, because a lot of times we feel like because our skin is darker that we don't need any sunscreen on. Yes, it's true that it takes the sun a long time to penetrate our skin than it does Caucasian skin, but it still happens. So don't take it for granted. Slap that sunscreen on you and your babies and go out and have fun. And right now they have sunscreen that's incorporated into things that we already wear. So if you wear makeup, sometimes just buy the one that has the sunscreen built in. Even for the lip gloss, it has it already built in so that you don't have to think about it. You're already protected. So that's just some of the things that are out there that you can do to reduce your risk of cancer. So, worldwide, cancer is the leading cause of death. We know here in the US is heart disease, and cancer is right neck and neck with heart disease. So, um, maybe in a decade later, cancer would be number one in the US. But right now, it is the leading cause of death in the world. And the ones that are most common, that people are most commonly being diagnosed with, is breast cancer, lung cancer, colon cancer, um, colorectal cancer, prostate cancer, rectum cancer. So if you have any of these cancers that run in your family, make sure, I always say, you should be approaching the doctor first to let the doctor know, okay, these things run in my family. When should I be getting tested, or should I be concerned about these things? Are they hereditary? How many people in your family have been diagnosed with these different diseases? At what age did they get diagnosed? Because the younger they're diagnosed, then the doctors are going to be concerned about you maybe possibly getting this disease. So make sure, again, if you have these in your family, that's a conversation with your doctor. That should be part of your screenings coming up. Doesn't matter what your age is. If it runs in your family, you should be pushing to get some type of screening, whether it be them just monitoring you, you're getting a mammogram, you're getting different tests done as it relates, excuse me, as it relates to the different cancers that I just mentioned. But there should be some type of talk with your doctor about it if it runs in your family, or if you're just concerned about it. Sometimes we have concerns and we don't know how to address it or do anything about it ourselves. So talk it over with the doctor. It could just be all in your head, because right now cancer is just all around us, and it would make you think like, oh, wait a minute, if my brother got cancer and my uncle got cancer and my aunt got cancer, like, am I next? So if it's a concern of yours, or even if your friends are getting cancer, like, clear your head and talk to your doctor. Get that stress up off you. So how can you reduce your risk of cancer? What are some things that you can do? Well, scientists at Harvard School of Public Health, they estimate, now here's another percentage, they estimate that up to 75% of American cancer deaths can be prevented. And they're giving us the 10 commandments of cancer prevention. Now, the title of the show is not prevention, and I did that purposely. I used the word reduce because when you say, are you doing enough to prevent your risk of cancer, then the people who had cancer will be like, so are you saying that I didn't do enough to prevent my cancer? Like, what does that mean? So I didn't want to, like, I took offense by it because I'm like, okay, what does that mean? I did something that I did not do something to prevent? Like, so I said reduce, because there's reduce is saying that you're not eliminating your chances altogether. So we know that we cannot eliminate our chances of getting cancer 100%, but we can reduce the risk of us ever having to deal with the disease. And a lot of times, if we're not reducing it, we're prolonging it, because the older you get, according to statistics, cancer is more prevalent. So just keep that in mind. So the first way they talk about is reducing your risk is tobacco. People who smoke, people who vape, any type of tobacco that you use exposes you to cancer. Even if you're getting secondhand smoke, people smoking around you, that's an issue as well. So you have to make sure, if you are a smoker, don't smoke around other people. Don't, because that's your choice and you don't want to stop smoking. Go off to yourself and keep all that smoke to yourself. Don't do it around other people and put their lives and their lungs at jeopardy because of this habit that you have. So any type of tobacco, right? Because I know we try to justify certain type of tobaccos, but if you read the labels on the cigarettes, they will say that it causes cancer, which I don't understand why people still smoke. And I understand addiction, but I would say you would need some help if you're having a hard time not being able to quit, knowing that smoking does lead to lung cancer. And secondhand smoke leads to it as well. So protect yourself and protect the people around you. Don't put other people in jeopardy. And number 2, the second way to reduce your risk of cancer is to eat properly. Reduce your consumption of saturated fats. He talked about red meats, any type of processed meat, sandwich meat, hot dogs, any type of processed meat that you get in a packet. It's been frozen. They put these preserves on it to make it last a long time. Then they call it a class 1 carcinogen, which means it's linked to causing cancer. So as less of it as you can eat, then do that. It puts you at risk for colon cancer, and it puts you at risk for a more aggressive form of prostate cancer. So what you want to do is just try to incorporate more fruits and vegetables in your diet. So especially while you're eating, your plate should be more fruits than it is meat. They say if you ball up your hand, then that's the size of the meat it should be on your plate. Just put more fruits and vegetables on your plate or incorporate it in your diet. Even if you have to do it, I like to get my stuff fresh, but if you don't have the time to eat it fresh, you can also put it in a shake. You can do it that way and drink it throughout the day. At least you're getting it in your body, and it's helping that red meat, that processed meat is helping it flush your system, right? Because if you're eating that meat and then it gets stuck to the walls and it builds up in there, and that's where a lot of that blockage come from. But if you're eating fruits and you're eating vegetables, what did it do? It slips right on through, and it'll help pull some of the other excess things that are not good for you and pull those through with it. So I would say some people will try to do everything at one time. Don't do it. Just try to do a little bit at a time, whatever is comfortable for you that would make you stick to it and be consistent. So if one week you have to give up pork chops, incorporate something else into your diet. The next week you do hot dogs. I don't know why anybody would eat hot dogs, but just if you have to give it up, give it up. Find other things that you can eat instead of it. I'm a person that even though I'm a vegan, I don't eat vegan processed meat either. I figure like if I'm giving up meat, then why am I substituting it for another form of so-called meat? So I don't eat it at all. So I would say do what's best for you and whatever is going to get you closer to your goal of eating properly. And that may look different for everybody. What's proper for you and your height and your body may be different for somebody else. So don't compare yourself to what somebody else is doing. And the third one is so important is regular exercise. And I feel like this one is probably the easiest one, especially if you're healthy and you're mobile and you can move around. Physical activity has been linked to reducing your risk of cancer. So if this is something that you can do to reduce your risk of cancer, which also reduces your risk of mortality from cancer, 150 hours a day, according to the American Heart Association, is all that you need. And at least they say 2 to 3 days of strengthen exercises, because as we age, we lose muscle mass, right? Once you get into your 40s, you start losing muscle mass. And if you're not doing anything to maintain that, then, you hear people having frequent falls. They hurt their hip, and now, you see them walking with a cane. They can barely bend down to pick up anything, reach up to get anything. You're calling your kids to go in the cabinet to get stuff. Like, exercise is for you to be mobile, to improve and increase your mobility as you age. You want to be able to be active and, again, do stuff not for yourself and for the people that are around you that you're taking care of. So I think a lot of times we really take exercise for granted, or we say, oh, I don't have time to do any exercise, but you're going to have time to take that medicine later because you're not going to have a choice. Not going to have a choice to take it. You either get your medicine now from your food and your exercise, or you can get it later from the doctors when they say you don't have a choice. Hey, Tia, thank you so much. I appreciate that. So you could get it now. Why not? They say food is medicine. Exercise is medicine. It releases something inside of your body when you exercise. And it helps when you're not overweight. It helps you to ward off different diseases, not just cancer, but other diseases. We know that type 2 diabetes is so prevalent in the African American community. When type 2 diabetes is reversible, you don't have to have it. It may be genetic. It may load the gun, but you don't have to pull that trigger with it. So that means you have to do what you need to do to make sure that you don't have it. It's ways that we can take care of our body and not have to pump it with all of this medicine. And I know some people need medicine, because I have a daughter that's a diabetic, type 1 diabetic, and her body doesn't produce insulin. And so she needs the insulin. So would I tell her to stop taking her medicine? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Not unless they come up with something to where she doesn't have to take it. But no, she needs it. Type 2, we know your body makes it. Sometimes you don't know what to do with it. So just little things that we can do, staying within our weight class. The body mass index is a big thing that I think a lot of times we don't know. I can remember going to the gym, like for a membership, and they always give you this little machine that you hold, and they can, I don't know how, could tell what your body mass index is from that little machine, right? You don't even have to get on a scale. And they tell you what it is, and they tell you, okay, you need to lose such and such, like you need to stay within this weight class because of the body mass index. And I'm just like, how can you even tell from me not even getting on a scale? I think sometimes we get confused with, oh, I'm not that heavy or I'm not that heavy. And you would be surprised with the body mass index. You don't even have to be that heavy to be overweight. So we always talk about know your numbers. Know your numbers. You should be going to the doctor to know what your numbers is. Your high blood pressure. I mean, not high blood pressure. I ain't gonna put that on you. Your blood pressure, your glucose number. Ask them to your heart rate. Like get all of your numbers checked so you know what they are. So every time you go to the doctor, you know that they're not spiking up, right? You can keep track of what's happening. Because a lot of times we don't see the same doctor over and over again. And sometimes they don't know. They just reading off of a file of what somebody else wrote. You should be able to keep your own records about what's happening to you. Number 5, if you choose to drink, it says to limit your drink to 1 a day. Now, this is kind of conflicting because I've heard a lot of other studies saying any amount of alcohol can increase your risk of cancer. Any amount. And I know they at one point they were saying, "Oh, you can have a glass of red wine." And some people said, "Oh, okay, so they're drinking red wine every night." And now they're saying, "Don't do that." So according to these 10 commandments, it says if you choose to drink, then limit yourself to 1 drink. And for women and men, our bodies are different. So they are able to hold more than we are when it comes to ounces. And so I would say if you are a drinker, just drink responsibly or don't drink at all. Number 6, it says avoid unnecessary exposure to radiation. I don't know who would be exposing themselves unnecessarily, but it increases your risk of lung cancer, it says. So it increases your risk of lung and skin cancer. We know we talk about cell phones a lot. And people say cell phones are linked to cancer. Don't sleep with your cell phone in the bed. It can link to cancer. Don't microwave your food. It can cause cancer. And it's so many different things that kind of confuses you about different radiation. I will tell you that when you get radiation from cancer, there's a chance that radiation can cause cancer. A lot of times they don't tell you that, but they'll tell you, "Oh, you need radiation." But a lot of times, majority of the time, they're not going to tell you radiation causes cancer. It could possibly cause that cancer to come back. But so why are you treating me with this radiation if there's a chance that this radiation may come back? They don't tell you that. A lot of times people just do it because they feel like their life is dependent on it. If they don't get this radiation, then there's a chance. They try to spook you too. They'll say, well, we just want to make sure we give you, everything that you need to keep from this cancer coming back. So we're going to give you the chemo, any radiation, you have that double defense. Chemo can cause cancer as well. They don't tell you that. They don't tell you that, especially when you're getting it. They're not, and I don't know if they expect you to do your own research on it, which you should, but they don't tell you. They don't tell you that it can cause cancer. And you're like, how? why are you giving it to me if one day it may cause cancer? They don't tell you that. Number 7, avoid exposure to industrial and environmental toxins. Things like we already know, and I don't know how many people are around asbestos, different things that even some of our cleaning products that we have that we don't really read the labels that can cause cancer. So I would say if you're using a product, look it up on the internet to see, what the ingredients is. Has there been a link to cancer? If it's something that you're using all the time, because it could be effective, but then you don't know that it could be causing cancer. I think about hairdressers or hairstylists, and they use the powder bleach. And a lot of times, if you're not wearing that mask, the little particles can get up in your nostrils and your lungs. And definitely, I believe that definitely can cause cancer. So if you notice when we go get our nails done, they have their masks on, but you're sitting there getting your nails done and you don't. But they have their masks on, especially because they're working around it all day. But just that little bit of time that you're in there and you're inhaling that. And even when you're getting your nails done and you're putting your hand under their light, you're being exposed to radiation. But we don't really think about that. We want to look pretty. You want to look nice, and it's a fast, quick, easy out, right? Because when you get like the no chip, or it's a fast out, you don't have to wait for the polish to dry. So they put that special polish on there. You put your hands under that light, and you out of there quick. You don't have to sit there and put your hand on a fan and wait for it to dry. A lot of that stuff, even though it's efficient, it's quick, a lot of it is known to and linked to causing cancer. They don't tell us that though. So another way you can reduce your risk of cancer is to avoid infections that contribute to cancer. And this is hepatitis, is a virus that's linked to cancer, liver cancer. And we talk about the HPV, it contributes to cervical cancer. So hepatitis, we know you can get it from contaminated needles. It's sexually transmitted. The HPV is sexually transmitted. They do have a vaccine for the HPV that you can get. I think it's starting at age 12, and it helps prevent cervical cancer. So it is a vaccine out there for it, but if you don't take advantage of it, or you don't allow your kids to take advantage of it, then what good is it going to do? And these are ways that you can avoid having those particular cancers. Number 9. Oh, I'm so bad with this one. Make quality sleep a priority. Hey, Angela. I'm so bad with this one. I can't even remember when. I don't even know what they consider quality sleep. Is it 8 hours? Is it 7 hours? That they consider what quality sleep is. But I know that I'm not getting any quality sleep at night. I guess when you're asleep, your body is relaxing, is repairing itself. If you're sick, especially if you've been through chemo, the time that you're sleeping, your body is repairing itself. And if you're not getting in that quality sleep, then you're doing damage to your body. You're doing damage to your body. So make sure you carve out time to get you some good sleep. If you have to, I'm not a person that takes stuff to make me go to sleep, like melatonin or anything. I'm the type of person that, and this is probably a bad thing too, as soon as I hit the bed, maybe a couple of seconds later, I'm out of there. So I don't hit the bed until I'm really sleepy, and then it doesn't take me no time to fall asleep. Number 10 is get enough vitamin D. And how much is enough vitamin D? Well, according to the experts, they say 800 to 1,000 units a day is enough. It's the goal, which they say is nearly impossible to obtain through a supplement. And so we know we could get it from the sun. That's one way to get it. But there also people have been saying that vitamin D is either increases your risk of cancer, and some people say that it reduces your risk of cancer. But I will say that you have to go to the doctor to get your vitamin D levels checked before you start taking supplements. So a lot of people would be like, oh, they hear a conversation, they're like, oh, well, I'm about to go increase my vitamin D. No, you need to find out what your levels are with the vitamin D first to even know if you need to increase your vitamin D. Don't just start taking vitamin D, and then because too much vitamin D can be an issue as well. So don't count on the supplements as well to get all the vitamin D you need. Go out into the sun for a limited amount of time, and you can let your skin soak up the sun. That's one way to get it. It's one way. Angela said it's actually 8 hours. Oh. I don't remember. 8 hours of sleep is what's needed. Who is sleeping for 8 hours? Like it's who? It's a lot of stuff that could be done while you're sleeping. That's a long time to be sleeping. But I would say your body, I would say get the amount of rest that you need at night, right? To be able to function during the day. 4 hours, that doesn't seem like enough. 5 hours doesn't seem like enough. I can function off 6 hours. A lot of times my body will not sleep past the 8 hours. I have to be really tired to sleep past 8 hours. Like my body is not used to it. And maybe because I'm just not used to sleeping 8 hours, but my body is like, girl, it's time to get up. Like, no, who's sleeping this long? So let's talk about screening tests. They say the earlier you get screened, right? Early detection, save lives, early detection. If you feel any symptoms from any diseases, go in right away. I would say if you're feeling symptoms, it's probably not early detection. Early detection is probably you not feeling any symptoms. If you're feeling symptoms, 9 times out of 10, it's probably done already started progressing. Angela said it causes severe headaches if you're not used to if you're not getting 8 hours. Girl, I don't even get headaches. She said it causes severe headaches if you're not getting 8 hours. I thank God that I don't get headaches. That's not my case. I don't get headaches when it comes to not sleeping. But I would say, if you're not getting good rest, that you're not able to be as sharp as you should be, right? Some things you're going to miss because you're not focused. Your body is not well rested. So make sure you're getting to sleep. Now, I don't know about 8 hours, but I would say get some good rest. I just can't do 8 hours. I'm sorry. I can't get 8 hours. So let's talk about the word caution, right? When you hear the word caution, it's telling you to be careful. Something is ahead. You need to brace yourself, right? So we're going to talk about the C in caution. And the C in caution as it relates to cancer is if you have a change in your bowels or your bladder habits, then that's something to be concerned about, that you should be talking to your doctor about to see what's going on in your body. Right? I know a lot of times we take it for granted and we just be like, I don't even know if people use the bathroom and you turn around and look at it, or you just wipe and flush. I know that's gross, but you should. inspect, look, maybe. I don't know if you have to do it every time you use it, but it shouldn't be a week going past as you ain't looked in the toilet and be like, you're looking to see. It could be blood in your stool. It could be anything. It could be black stool, which means blood is really in there, right? But you could see like the fresh blood. I mean, and then you need to be able to tell the doctor, oh, this is what I saw. But if you never look to see what it is, then you're gonna be like, oh, well, there's nothing wrong with my bladder or my bowels. Like, you gotta look. It's your body. You gotta look and see what's going on. You could look up a meme, and the meme I know this probably sounds gross, but the meme has I think 8 different types of poop. And it tells you like what's going on in your body if you have these type of poops. Angela says your urine is too dark. Yeah, if it's really dark yellow, then you ain't getting no water. You probably dehydrated and you need to hydrate yourself. Right. So just little things like that you need to if it smells, like if you got a strong urine smell, you need to do something. Pay attention to that. A lot of times I think we just be in a hurry. Cadillac said, I can't do 8 hours either. I swear I can't. I don't know. I don't even think I've ever, maybe as a kid, because I probably didn't have a choice, but not now. Okay, the A in caution says if you have a sore that does not heal, that's something to be concerned about, and it could be a sign that you have cancer. Or you could be a diabetic, because sometimes diabetic have sores that don't heal. So think about that. So don't go running around like, oh, I got cancer, this sore one here, because you could be a diabetic. The U in cautions, unusual bleeding or discharge. Now it says unusual bleeding or discharge. If you know maybe a lady who may be in menopause and you haven't had your period in years and all of a sudden you're bleeding. If you are a male and you're bleeding from the rectum, that's not normal. That's something to be concerned about, right? It's a caution sign to be worried about. And the T in caution is thickening or a lump in the breast or anywhere else on your body. It's your body. So, when you shower, inspect your body. And we always say, know your normal, so you know when something is not normal. As long as you are paying attention to what's going on with your body, then you will know, oh, wait a minute, that wasn't there last time. And then I always say wait 3 weeks. If it's still there, then it should be something you should be talking to your doctor. Angela said they also bruise very easily if you're diabetic. There you go. If you're noticing that you're bruising easily, that's something to be concerned about. The I in caution is indigestion or difficulty swallowing. And it's not a sore throat, right? But you're having troubles. Your food is not digesting properly, and you're having problems swallowing. You're like, now a person that none of us are just going to keep going on and on about our life for a long period of time, not being able to swallow or, not being able to digest our food. We're going to be like, oh, I'm going to see about what's going on. So for that one, that's kind of like obvious. And we talked about the skin cancer earlier. It says obvious change in a wart or a mole. So if you have a wart or a mole on you, and it's been there for a while, and then all of a sudden it started to change the look, the shape, that's something to be concerned about. I would say go and see a dermatologist so they can look at it, biopsy it. Again, this is your one body that you get. And if you're looking at your body, and if you already have moles, I would just say know where they are, right? So that you know if something new comes about. and then you can address it. The N in caution is a nagging cough, or you have hoarseness in your voice. Have you ever heard a person always sounding hoarse? You're like, what's wrong with them? Not to say you have cancer, but if you have this nagging cough and you don't have a cold, and it's been there for a long period of time, then that's something that you should be cautioned about, and you should be talking to your doctor, bringing it to the doctor's attention. So let's talk about some of the myths that are out there about cancer. Sugar feeds cancer. So some statistics say there's no evidence that sugar directly feeds cancer. And when you think about it, everything we eat turns into sugar, right? Because we need this sugar for energy. So is it just the processed sugar that causes cancer? Is it also when we eat fruits and vegetables, when we eat other foods that turn into cancer? It's something to be concerned about. And I would say we should be limiting our sugar intake anyway, right? We should not be overly sugaring our food or salting our food. Either way, I would say don't panic when it comes to you thinking about, oh, this sugar feeding cancer. I will say when they give you a test and they want to know where the cancer is, they give you this glucose to swallow. What is it? It's sugar, and it goes right to where the cancer is. So I think that's why a lot of times people say that, which is kind of weird that they do that, but then they don't want to admit that sugar causes cancer. Artificial sweeteners, they say, increases your risk of cancer. They're saying that there have been so many studies done and they have not come to that conclusion. Angela says, I get so tired of hearing that about sugar is cancerous. It is. It could be really scary when you think about it because, again, everything we eat has sugar in it. It turns into sugar. So what can you do? I would say limit your intake of sugar. Instead of grabbing for that candy bar, get a fruit, some type of fruit. Like limit your sugar intake. I didn't say restrict because sugar is almost like it's like cocaine. You try to limit it, you're gonna have these craving withdrawals. I did it for 30 days, and oh my goodness, it's a drug. And then you try to wean yourself off of it, you are going to feel those effects. Another myth they talked about is fasting reduces cancer risk. And we hear that all the time. Oh, girl, just, you need to fast a couple of days a week, fast for like 12 hours, 72 hours, and it's going to rid your body of cancer. Now, fasting is good for your body because you need to give your body a break from it having to work to digest food all the time. So you should be giving your body a break. But they're saying that there's no evidence that fasting reduces your overall risk of cancer. Plant-based diets reduces your risk of cancer. That's what they're saying, right? But they're saying there's not enough evidence to support this. And you should be eating a healthier diet. But people who have a plant-based diet also get cancer. Yeah, they do. Some people will tell you to avoid carbs altogether. Don't do carbs and you won't get cancer. Well, they say your body needs the carbohydrates, again, for energy. So you have to be careful about all of these different solutions to cancer that are out here. Angela says you need to decrease your sugar intake. I'm working hard as heck on this. She's working. It's hard. I'm telling you, sugar is like a drug. It is like a drug. They said attitude. Attitude determines your risk. It says there's no convincing scientific evidence that a person's attitude can reduce their risk from developing or dying from cancer. It's not. And people will tell you all the time to have a positive attitude, and girl, you could beat the cancer, just be positive. It's your mindset while those cells are still multiplying and dividing in your body. And yeah, you should be positive. You should have a positive attitude regardless if you have cancer. Hey, Tangelia. You should. But don't think that, oh, I'm not positive and I had a bad day and I was thinking this way now, my cancer is going to. No, don't allow people to have you thinking that way. So there you have it. I have given you 10 commandments on how to reduce your risk of cancer. I gave you the word caution that gave you symptoms of cancer to look out for. And then we talked about myths that are floating around about cancer that you should avoid. I am grateful for my sponsor on today, which is Gloria Dotson with Mary Kay, and she's catering to all of your beauty needs from head to toe. You can head over to her website, marykay.com/GDOTSON for some of her fantastic products. Warriors Talk is always looking for guests for Testimonial Monday. If you yourself or you know someone who would like to be a guest to empower and educate others with your journey, just email me at warriorstalk1@gmail.com, or you can inbox me on Facebook. Warriors Talk is getting ready to have our 8th annual Survivors Night of Reflection Gala, and it's taking place on Saturday, October the 19th, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Crystal Sky Banquet Hall in McCook, Illinois. The tickets are $60. You can sponsor a survivor to come free. You can email me for sponsorship, or if you would like to be a vendor. I'm so excited because this is our 8th year, you guys. And if you've been with me from year one, you already know we are growing. We are growing. You guys don't go anywhere. Stay right here on Intellectual Radio. Coming up next is Pillow Talk with God, so you don't want to go anywhere. I will leave you with these words of wisdom. Remember to test, assess, address, but don't guess when it comes to cancer. So join me next Monday right here at 6 p.m. on Intellectual Radio. As always, thank you for tuning in to Warriors Talk with author and founder Lady ReShell, where we are changing lives one warrior at a time.
Thank you for listening to this week's edition of Warriors Talk with Lady ReShell. To find out more about Warriors Talk, follow at Warriors Talk, the number 1, on all social media outlets, and Warriors Talk with Lady ReShell on YouTube. Please join us next week and every Monday evening at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time on IntellectualRadio.com for Warriors Talk with Lady ReShell, where we encourage, educate, and empower you into action.